My Hero Academia Chapter 416 lives up to its title, Force Your Way Through Izuku Midoriya, as that's exactly what Deku does by the end of the chapter in forcing his way to an early grave, and finally making it to Tenko Shimura. Also, the chapter all but confirms the death of a major character, that being Himiko Toga. And I know I just said Deku was no longer alive by the end of the chapter, but let me cook. I got a few separate theories in this video that explains not only how Deku just died at the end of this chapter, but why Toga wasn't taken with Ochako in the helicopter, and what Izuku will witness within Shigaraki's darkest memory that will ultimately save the world. Now, for the first theory on how the end of the chapter sets up Deku saving the world. So in chapter 416, Deku is making his way through all of Shigaraki's fingers and hands, forcing his way through to be able to hit Shigaraki with another dose of One For All. As Deku is about to go for another One For All field punch, Shigaraki, not wanting Deku to come any closer, is reminded of his father moments before his death. Deku, seemingly landing the blow, suddenly sees himself in front of the place that started it all, the Shimura family home. Now, with Deku suddenly appearing in front of the Shimura household, makes me believe that when Shigaraki was reminded of his father when Deku came at him, the memory was so strong that the resonance between One For All and All For One had reached its max. This would explain why Shigaraki seemingly disappears despite legit being in front of Deku a mere moment before, and why Deku ends up in his UA uniform. It's because now that their resonance has reached their max, they were both thrown into this One For All world made specifically of their memories, with Deku seemingly being the first out of the two about to witness each other's origins, as it would make sense that something similar happened to Shigaraki, with him possibly also witnessing Deku's past at the same time as Deku witnessing his. I believe we are going to see Deku fully understand Shigaraki, why he became a villain, and Deku will become the first legit hero to ever extend his hand out to him and save Tenko Shimura, paralleling the day All For One did the same to Tenko, and with Shigaraki simultaneously witnessing Deku's past leading up to their fight, showing Shigaraki that Deku is the hero that will change Hero Society for the better. So far, Deku, after the Paranormal Liberation War, has been trying to understand his villains, and I believe truly understanding and saving his greatest villain is what's going to make him the greatest hero, as this entire final war has been about just that. The Todoroki family fully understanding taking on Dabi's pain, Ochako and how she got to fully know the real Toga, saving her from becoming what society believed she was all along, and Deku is going to undergo the same trials with Shigaraki and become the hero that wins by saving his greatest villain. So Deku forcing his way into Shigaraki's darkest memory is key to saving the world. Now, earlier I did mention that Himiko Toga is all but confirmed dead, since in the process of Deku forcing his way to Shigaraki's memory, we see that Ochako is being taken away by the helicopter that the news reporter was in, and the news reporter stays back and states that Ochako has a serious wound and needs immediate medical attention. Upon closer inspection, Toga is nowhere in sight as Ochako is being evacuated. The last we've seen of Toga was her giving Ochako a blood transfusion to save Ochako's life at the cost of her own. It's possible that by the time the reporter and the helicopter touched down onto the battlefield, Toga was most likely already passed away due to blood loss, saving Ochako's life, and there was no other choice for the reporter but to save Ochako, as she was the only one with a pulse. It would make sense that Toga would have gotten left behind due to passing away, since the reporter witnessed Toga saving Ochako due to her being present during the fight. Not only that, Froppy is in tears as Ochako is being escorted away, which could indicate that Froppy is crying due to not only her friend being on death's door, but the fact that Toga passed away right after being somewhat redeemed. There's a chance Toga could have ran before help arrived, but it's super unlikely given that she states that all of her blood is now for Ochako. Honestly, truly an emotional loss, but until we see a body, there is a slight chance she's still alive, though it's pretty much all but confirmed that Toga is long gone. Now, my final theory is the most out of pocket one, that being Deku Deku instantly died when he suddenly appears in front of the Shimura home. Now, at first, a memory appearing in front of Deku doesn't seem all that crazy. Deku and Shigaraki have been able to witness each other's memories for the past few chapters already. It's not a big deal. But what makes this so different is that when Deku sees himself in front of the Shimura house, Shigaraki is nowhere in sight. In all of the other times that Deku has witnessed a new memory, whether it be his or Shigaraki's, Shigaraki was always in sight in front of him. All of a sudden, Shigaraki is no longer there. But I think the biggest giveaway that Deku is no longer living is that Deku in the final two panels gets changed into his UA uniform and is no longer battle damaged. Doesn't that remind you of the death of Bakugo, where literally in his final moments he speaks to Vestige All Might and is in his UA uniform no longer battle damaged as well. Deku most likely got grabbed by Shigaraki in his desperate attempt to keep Deku away from him, and in that desperate attempt manages to grab Izuku, decaying him and stealing One For All in the process, leaving only a vestige Izuku whose only hope is to get to Tenko Shimura within Shigaraki's memory to save the world. I don't know, did I cook with that theory? You let me know. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think Deku is actually dead, but I will say seeing him in the UA uniform did remind me of Bakugo's death a lot. All in all, this chapter was pretty much filler, but awesome filler at that, as we got to see some of what the other heroes were up to, and we got a very interesting setup for chapter 417. With that said, let me know all of your thoughts on all of the theories made for the chapter in the video. Do you think the house is the key to ending this war? Do you think Himiko Toga is alive somewhere out there? And do you think Deku turned into fish flakes at the end of the chapter? Let me know your thoughts on everything in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to Detroit smash that like button down below, and if you're new to the Kitoroki channel, then be sure to subscribe to never miss another My Hero Academia video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.